Hello and a very warm welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program with me, Kipchu. Our top stories. His Holiness the J. Khenpo confers Master of Arts in Buddhist Studies certificate to 30 monks. Country's gross domestic revenue grows by almost 9% according to the National Revenue Report. And more than 2,500 civil servants leave the civil service last year. Bhutan now has the first batch of monks with Master of Arts in Buddhist Studies. His Holiness the J. Khenpo awarded master's degree certificates to 30 monks of the Tango Institute for Advanced Vajrayana Studies on Thursday. Her Majesty the Queen Mother Ajidoji Wamo Wanchu, Her Royal Highness Princess Sonam Dichen Wanchu, Gelse Tuku Jigme Tenzin Wampo, and Pirotana Rinpoche Ngawa Jigme Jikten Wanchu were also present at the ceremony.
These are the first monks in the country who received the certificates today at the Tashi Chezong in Thimphu. They studied at the Tango Institute for Advanced Vajrayana Studies for 2 years, which was established for the first time in Bhutan in 2020. This was for enhancing the growth of the Vajrayana practice in the country.
In
Vajrayana Buddhism, we have a choice to get enlightenment. If we cannot get enlightened from one method, we have other methods to get enlightened. Therefore, this practice has the ability to make its practitioners attain enlightenment in one lifetime. Secondly, it is important to learn Vajrayana tradition to know the way of conducting religious rituals.
During the award ceremony, His Holiness the J. Khenpo also launched a book titled The Essence of the Teachings of Accomplished Vidyadharas. The book contains research articles contributed by the graduated monks. "31-year-old Phup Namge from Chukha and 30-year-old Choki from Tronsa are among the graduates who were certified today. They said they were honored and blessed to receive the certificate and hope to contribute to the spread of Buddha Dharma.
We are truly honored and blessed to receive our certificate from His Holiness the J. Khenpo in the esteemed presence of Her Majesty Ajidoji Wamo Wanchuk and Her Royal Highness Ajisonam Dechen Wanchuk and His Eminence Bairotana Rinpoche. And this institute was established in 2020, and initially there were some challenges, but due to the blessings of Triple Gem and the combined effort of the teachers and students up there, we were able to successfully overcome all the challenges.
In my opinion, after receiving lots of Vajrayana teachings and learning this important practice, I hope to spread my knowledge as much as possible. While traveling to other places, if we could share about such studies to other people, we would be able to make them understand the importance of Vajrayana tradition.
Most of the graduated monks will go for a 3-year retreat, and some of them will serve as teachers in different institutes and Shedra under the central monastic body. For Karmawangdi, Changadawa, BBS News.
As a long-standing and committed development partner of Bhutan, the Government of India has extended a grant assistance of 2 billion Ngitam for the Gelsung Infra project. During a special ceremony recently to mark the GOI's support for the Gelsung Infra project, Indian Ambassador Sudhakar Dalila presented the first tranche of grant assistance of 1 billion rupees to the project director of Gelsung Infra at the Semtoga zone.
The first tranche of the grant will be used for the Desung for Gelsung or DFG program as a special India-Bhutan friendship project. The DFG seeks to engage about 11,000 Desups in the Gelsung infrastructure construction project through a hybrid skilling and on-the-job training program over the next 2 years. Gelsung is an important national initiative envisioned by His Majesty the King to build a strong foundation for the future of Bhutan. Its main objective is to build the capabilities of Bhutan's youth, enabling them to participate in the process of nation building and empowering them to realize their potential as competent and productive citizens in service of the Tawasum. Gelsung has been designed as a one-year integrated training program, which includes 3 months of basic military training, followed by 8 months of technical skills training in ICT, construction, agriculture, and community security. About 13,000 boys and girls will participate annually in national service training in the 5 Gelsung academies currently being built by Gelsung Infra. The grant assistance of the 2 billion nitam is in addition to GOI's commitment of planned assistance of 50 billion nitam to the royal government. This support will ensure that regular bilateral development programs of the royal government are not impacted. Devika Pradhan, BBS News.
It will be slightly cheaper to borrow money from the banks. The Royal Monetary Authority, in a news release on Monday, reduced the single minimum lending rate or MLR by 0.4 percentage points. The single MLR for the past 6 months stood at 6.92%. MLR is a single benchmark or minimum reference rate for lending of money across the financial institutions. The central bank calculates the single MLR by averaging the minimum lending rates of individual banks. Accordingly, based on the new MLR, respective banks will now have to come up with revised lending rates for the next 6 months. The country's gross domestic revenue grew by almost 9% in the last financial year compared to the previous year. This is according to the recently published National Revenue Report. Over 39 billion yutam was added to the government's coffer. The increase is attributed to the resumption of economic activities after the COVID pandemic.
Of the total revenue collected, almost 26 billion yutam came from taxes. This is an increase by over 25% compared to the previous financial year. The increase was attributed to the increase in remittances of TDS and declarations at checkposts, among others. The increase of corporate income tax from ferrosilicon companies due to the increase in prices of ferrosilicon in the market also contributed to the increase. Taxes on property, goods and services, international trade and transactions, among others, amounted to more than 12 billion yutam. Other revenue consisting of property income and social contributions contributed more than 11 billion yutam to the total revenue. Sales of goods and services and administrative fees and charges contributed just over 1 billion yutam. It was an increase of 15% compared to the previous fiscal year. Capital revenue from government agencies contributed more than 420 million yutam to the net revenue. This was more than 400% increase compared to the fiscal year 2020 to 2021. This was primarily attributed to the increase in bit value of dolomite and gypsum mines. Changadawa for BBS News.
An apple a day keeps the doctor away. It is not just apples, but eating vegetables can also keep the doctor away. A 2019 study by the Health Ministry found that Bhutanese need to eat more fruits and vegetables, and just eating 3 times a day is not enough. The ministry says for someone to live a healthy life, one needs to eat at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, and most Bhutanese are not aware.
According to the Health Ministry, 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day reduces a person's risk of heart diseases, cancers, diabetes, and respiratory problems significantly. Fruits and vegetables provide the required micronutrients to our body. According to the survey, the average Bhutanese eats only 3 servings of fruit and vegetables a day.
Fruits and vegetables, 5 servings.
I'm not aware that we have to eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables in a day, but sometimes I eat around 6 to 7 times and take fruits and vegetables to school every day. When I'm home, I don't eat fruits and vegetables regularly.
However, eating in excess quantity is also not beneficial. The Health Ministry says excess micronutrients will be lost through sweat and urine. On the other hand, people say buying fruits on a regular basis is expensive.
I
am aware that we need to eat 5 servings every day since my father was a health worker. However, fruits are not affordable. Even then, I do give my children fruits 4-5 times a week.
that cha ji ngadi chidi
Maka ita zali talam na dakpa yung kumalay pan mga gilado.
Even if we want to eat, we don't get many fruits and vegetables in the village. We do eat when we get them during summers. Otherwise, in winter, we only eat potatoes.
Yung patangon sana. Yaba yung kumala ni magarang man yung payolas mal.
The Health Ministry is carrying out programs to raise awareness on the importance of eating fruits and vegetables.
There is a rise in overweight and obesity in the country. So the same STEP survey found out that around 33% of our population were overweight and 11% were obese. So because of which we have increasing prevalence of hypertension, diabetes, COPDs and cardiovascular diseases.
The Health Ministry's survey found that non-communicable diseases account for 69% of all deaths in Bhutan. It was also found that people with insufficient intake of fruits and vegetables accounted for 86% of non-communicable diseases. Tashyangdan, PBS News.
Bhutan is targeting the elimination of malaria by 2025. This is after missing 2 targets in 2018 and 2020. According to the Health Minister, cross-border issues in the south, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, have hampered the country's progress in achieving the status. Bhutan recorded 9 malaria cases last year, but the ministry is reviewing if those cases were from the community.
Elimination of malaria does not mean total eradication of malaria. According to the Health Minister, malaria elimination status is achieved when the country does not report any indigenous or community cases. This means even if the country achieves malaria elimination status, there could still be imported malaria cases. The minister said the health officials are investigating every malaria cases followed by contact tracing and a survey, among others. The ministry also reportedly strengthened coordination with India besides intensifying measures to achieve the target.
We also had series of discussion in terms of cross-border, because malaria is sort of endemic in the south, and there's also a lot of cross-border issues with malaria. We have had good partnership with GOI to do a lot of cross-border elimination. So if we are going to eliminate, then all these activities will also be intensified on both sides of the country.
Public awareness and prevention are some of the important measures to eliminate malaria. But the minister said non-compliance from the public is the main challenge.
If people are compliant with what we are saying, then I think we would achieve very quickly. We're saying not to keep stagnant water, but people still like to keep stagnant water. Wear long sleeve, nobody listens to us. No, if you have symptoms, we need to report, but people don't come. So things like that. So I think we are trying our best to make information available, but at the same time, people will also have to take personal responsibility and be able to follow.
The minister added it is important for everyone to take up individual responsibility for eliminating the disease. To achieve the malaria elimination status, the country should not report any malaria cases from the community for 3 consecutive years. Bhutan has seen a drastic reduction in malaria cases with just 23 cases in 2021. As per the annual health bulletin, of it, 9 were reported from within the community. Kiltim for BBS News.
Over 2,500 civil servants left the civil service last year. According to the Civil Service Statistics Report 2022, the attrition rate almost doubled compared to 2021 and is the highest in the past 5 years. Similarly, over 600 civil servants left on extraordinary leave.
According to the Civil Service Statistics Report, the attrition rate has increased from 4.82% in 2021 to 8.62% last year. However, the report does not mention reasons why the civil servants left the system in such huge numbers. Of the 2,646 civil servants who separated, 1,538 resigned voluntarily or had their contracts terminated. 268 superannuated and 475 left after their contracts ended. The Education Ministry saw 1,130 civil servants leaving the profession, followed by the Health Ministry, which accounted for 269. However, a total of 1,791 civil servants were recruited last year. As per the report, there are over 30,000 civil servants in the country. Kinzang Haden, PBS News.
The lack of irrigation water is taking toll on the livelihoods of paddy farmers of Rinchiga and Tetsogeok in Wandipora. It will be the second consecutive year the farmers of Rinchiga, Tu and Mechiok will miss spring paddy cultivation. The farmers there cultivate paddy twice a year for a sustainable livelihood.
Usually by this time of the year, the paddy fields at Rinchiga will be tilled, irrigated and all set for cultivation. Likewise, even paddy saplings will be ready for transplantation. They normally begin the spring paddy transplantation works by March and harvest it by June, but this time the farmers haven't even raised any paddy saplings. Things changed since last spring as paddy fields remained dry, leaving the farmers jobless during what otherwise is a busy season. The village has been facing an acute shortage of irrigation water. The existing irrigation water supply is disrupted by the ongoing project to supply additional irrigation water. The ongoing construction of the additional irrigation water supply is being carried out from the same source at Nahirongchu in Nahigyeok through the same water canal. The source is located at around 10 kilometers from the village. The construction works caused a blockage at the source while constructing water tank. In addition, the canal is also blocked while constructing road. An official says they cannot clear the blockages due to the ongoing irrigation water supply project. With the disruption of irrigation water supply, farmers are worried. They say it will affect rice self-sufficiency and deteriorate their biannual paddy cultivation culture if the problem prolongs.
There are chances of facing food shortage as our population is increasing annually. Similarly, there is a risk of facing economic crisis. Moreover, I can foresee a decline in the biannual paddy cultivation culture in our community if we fail to practice it continuously hereafter.
We have to depend on rice production to buy vegetables and other grocery items. It may not be a problem for those who have enough rice, but for people like us, it's difficult as we have many children to raise. We didn't face any problem when we could cultivate rice twice a year.
We cannot cultivate paddy when there is no irrigation water. We cannot buy rice from market since we do not have money. It is really concerning when we cannot cultivate paddy due to lack of irrigation water. We have 11 people in the family and it is worrying to provide enough food for all. We are facing a shortage of ration when we do not have irrigation water. It is more than sufficient if we have water. We could at least cultivate paddy twice a year and also grow vegetables. We don't have the income to buy rice even if it's available in the market.
The district administration provided them with wheat seed last year as an alternative to spring paddy cultivation. But this time the farmers could not grow wheat due to the shortage of irrigation water. Let alone spring paddy cultivation, some are even worried if they will receive irrigation water for the summer paddy cultivation. Besides contributing to self-sufficiency, spring paddy cultivation is a source of income for the farmers. Locals say they used to earn around up to 15,000 yutam by selling rice.
Actually, we used to transplant paddy in the second month and harvest by the 6th month of the Buddhist calendar. As our rice will be the first to hit the market during that time, it fetches good price in the market.
It is given that our people will not be able to improve their livelihood if they fail to access the irrigation water like last year. Anyhow, we'll wait and see for a year as suggested by the concerned officials. If they fail to address the problem by next year, we will take the matter to wherever we see a solution.
According to the district officials, the ongoing additional water supply project work is supposed to complete by the end of this month. The progress of the year-long construction project was hampered by the pandemic. As a result, the duration was extended by a year. Officials assured that the problem would resolve following the completion of the ongoing irrigation water supply construction project. More than 80 households in the two Chioks have been practicing spring paddy cultivation since 2007. For Chengadoji in Wandifodrong, Tsringdiki for BBS News.
It is no secret that rural villages in the country are emptying. Similarly, in Tashianse, rural-urban migration has been a cause of concern for the people of Champhose village in Tetsogeok. Every year, villagers say some 3 to 4 families are migrating to nearby districts, leaving many kungtongs or empty houses. But people say having a ropeway to their village might reverse the trend.
Champhose village is located 4 hours walk from the nearest road point. According to Tetsogeok, from 86 households in 2008, only half of the families reside in the village today. Many houses remain locked and some have even turned into ruins. The arable lands too are now fallow. Only elderly people remain in the village.
Our village is remote and we don't have a good source of income, so we face a lot of difficulties. Some of the relatives even tell their families that they don't want their share of land.
They will not come back. There will be gungtong. Since it is difficult to work, they will not come back.
We are worried and not happy since the wild animals are attacking the cattle and even posing threat to humans.
A few villagers added that if a ropeway is provided, the issue might get solved.
I think the Gungtong issue might be solved if the walking trail is improved and a ropeway is provided.
We have been waiting for a ropeway. Until now, all governments have been pledging about it.
Tetsogup Dechenwandi said the need for a ropeway was discussed some 8 years ago, but officials who conducted the survey found it unfeasible. For now, the Gyok does not have any plans to reconsider it as there is a budget constraint. For Sonam Darge in Tashiansi, Sharab Doji, PBS News.
That's it for this week. Thank you for joining us.